So what to do with your money in 2023? I want to have an honest and real discussion with you guys about this topic. And, I do YouTube every single day. And I just tell you that the amount of craziness out there is just unreal. And so I try my best to give you guys honest and real opinions about this stuff. This is a really important thing. Savings accounts are actually really good. I'm laughing because it's like, I don't know why people don't talk about this enough. Someone asked me in the comments, hey, Chris, you said saving accounts are 4%. What the heck are you talking about? Literally, this is what I'm talking about. Savings accounts are 4%. So that means like just holding cash, putting it in a savings account, you're getting 4% on your money, which is pretty good. One of the things that has been crazy, for years is like because interest rates were really, really low, it actually encouraged people to borrow essentially and encouraged companies to invest. And we had all this crazy growth. It wasn't really that great to have a savings account because it was like effectively flat. But now savings accounts are like 4%. And it's probably still going to go up. And this is something that we need to track. Now, why does this matter is because when you're managing your money, you have to decide, okay, where's the best place to allocate that and where can I get the best return? And for many people, like just putting your money in a savings account is actually a decent return. However, to be fair, some people say, well, cash is trash because with inflation, you're actually losing money. Here's the thing. Yes, I get it, right? Maybe your spending power goes down. However, you're not really losing the cash when you put it in there. It may seem like that your spending power is going down and people are trying to convince you to do all these other crazy things. And the basic reason why they're doing that is because the financial industry is corrupt. I want to repeat this. The financial industry is corrupt. Why? Because how do they make money? They make money by managing your money, right? If they can't manage your money, then they don't make any money. And so that's why you're going to get like ARK Invest and Kathy Wood and these kind of things saying, hey, you got to buy solar power rockets that are going to power your cell phones. And they really do say that. Or, hey, you got to buy, Bitcoin because it's going to $1 million a share and just give me all the money and I'll make you rich. And in fact, the reality is like, it's more like give me your money and I manage your money and charge you a fee and I get rich off the fee. So the financial industry is never really going to say, hey guys, savings accounts are actually pretty good because they don't really make any money off of that. The other thing that is really important as well is bonds. I talk about this stuff quite a bit in the past over the summer. Series I bonds, I always mention these things. They're pretty good. Right now, they're sitting at 6.89%, which is pretty good, right? Guaranteed. Like the good thing about savings account, it's like right now it's guaranteed. Series I bond is guaranteed, right? There was actually even higher interest rate before, and I made videos about it, but they just weren't that popular. I think it was like 9.7% for a while, and they were like my least popular videos because, frankly, well, again, a lot of kids out there just want to buy your cryptos and whatever meme stocks and stuff like that, and I get that. I really get that, but I just wanted to put this out there because it's like something I got to get off my chest. The next thing I want to mention is I didn't realize it was this high. We actually talked about this before. Is credit card interest. The last article that I saw that the average rate was like around 19%. For credit cards. This is now telling us that like the average rate is 23%, 23.39%, which is crazy. So putting all these things together, and remember, this is all about allocating your cash. If you have to say, okay, I got 4% of my savings, but I have to pay 24% of my credit cards. Obviously, 24 is bigger number than 4, and so you should be paying off your credit cards. Basically, the gist of it is that you want to pay off variable debt and high interest rate debt, and especially when interest rates keep going up and they're going to stay elevated. This is according to the Fed. They just keep saying it like every day. Hey guys, we're raising rates, so we're going to keep them elevated for the rest of the year. You got to be paying off your debt. So I really want to emphasize that with you guys. Okay, the next thing is what about specific investments? And you get a whole bunch of crazy channels out there saying, oh, you got to buy this hot stock, you got to buy this hot stock, and literally they'll say hot stock. There's a couple things I have to say about this. So one is, I have no problem if you want to buy individual stocks. Now, there's some people out there that say, Chris, people should never buy individual stocks, stuff like that. I actually disagree with that because I think one of the fundamental tenets of being American, and I'm being really honest here, is being able to invest in any company that you want and to be able to take ownership. This is what it is, right? In any company that you want. Basically, when you buy stock in a company, you're buying ownership in a company. And I'm just telling you, I lived in China, for example, and the government has limits on what citizens can do, how much they can invest. They have limits on how much money they can send out of the country. They basically limit people's freedom to invest. And I think this is one of the fundamental tenets of American society is being able to invest, being able to start a business, be able to do all these kind of things. So I'm all for this. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to be good at it, right? Nothing's guaranteed in the market. And I think one of the things that really is bothersome is that unfortunately there's a lot of channels out there, and I just have to mention this. frankly, they're unqualified, they're uneducated, and frankly, they're just dumb. And, yes, a broken clock can be right sometimes. That's always the phrase you use, but it's true, right? Sometimes you can be right, et cetera. But a lot of these people are just frankly dumb. And even if you're, really smart, for example, you can still get it wrong. And this is something that I think is important to mention, is that the smartest people, we'll use the example of Warren Buffett. He'll even say, you know what, I make mistakes, and this is when I made my mistakes, and you laugh about it and you move on. And sort of what you want to do is manage risk. And this is something that people just don't talk about enough, is managing risk. You can lose. So yes, if you get into stocks, you may have a higher beta, meaning you have a better chance to get, 50% return on your money. However, you got to talk about, you could lose 50% of your money. And so this is all about managing your risk. And sort of why I'm mentioning different types of avenues to put your money. Also too, when you talk about stocks, so you should also be thinking about index funds, right? So if you want to do individual companies, go for it. But you should also be thinking about index funds. You can do the US market, you can do international markets, either developed countries or emerging countries. I'm not going to endorse any particular ETFs, but they are out there, and I'm just telling you, it's like US stocks or international. And also too, you can get bond ETFs as well. So the allocation is going to depend on you and your risk profile, right? Some people might be like, 20% bonds, 80% stocks. Some people might be 30-70, right? 30% bonds, 70% stocks. Some might be 40-60, right? 40% bonds, 60% stocks, and some might be 50-50, whatever. You have to do what makes sense for you. And sometimes people are like, well, Chris, just tell me what to do. This is the thing with life, guys. You got to do what makes sense for you. And sort of what sort of frustrates me about this whole YouTube culture and finance is, and again, I have to reiterate, remember, people make money off of managing your money, or people make money off of essentially selling you their hot picks on their Patreon, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of channels out there, and it's just really, really frustrating because frankly, it's all corrupt. Here's the real thing. This is very, very real. Basically, the scammers out there, if they're selling you some sort of scammy class or some sort of scammy, picks, or some sort of scammy portfolio, right? That is a scam. They're getting rich off managing your money, the same way that Kathy Wood gets rich off managing your money. That's where they get their money. They're not necessarily good at these kind of things. I hope you understand this. Also too, guys, I get it. People say, well, Chris, why aren't you working in the financial industry and stuff like that? Like, if you're so smart. Fairly frank, because it was too corrupt. It's not something I was interested in. I went to college. I went to the University of Pennsylvania. If you understand what that is, right? It's an Ivy League school. It's the finance school. It's where basically a large percentage of people on Wall Street went to Penn. I'm not talking just random stuff. I also went to Brown, which is an Ivy League school as well. A lot of finance people work from Brown as well. These are Ivy League schools. These are very, very good schools. I studied business at Duke. I took accounting. I can read all of this stuff. I understand everything. I hope I demonstrate that daily when we look at the news. I talk about every single company out there. I can go over balance sheets if we really want, but I just don't really do that stuff on this channel because for me, it's more enjoyable to just talk about the news and talk about freely about any topic that I want. And again, if I really wanted to manage your money, I would have gone to work at Wall Street and joined the corrupt people and essentially, say, hey, just give me all your money. I'm going to make you rich, and I'm going to make money off of managing your money. I hope you understand that. So I just really want to emphasize that. Another thing that you want to be thinking about as well, to say, your money in 2023 is real estate. And this is a tricky one because you have to balance, which market you're in. You have to have a balance as well as like where your job is, these kind of things. So for many people, your real estate / house is that you're going to buy it and you're going to live with it, etc. One thing that I think is really frustrating for me as well is I see a lot of people on YouTube. It's like, oh, you're gonna buy a house and you're gonna refurbish it and it's become an Airbnb, and this is like the pathway to riches and passive income, this kind of stuff. And I think one of the things that they don't really emphasize enough is there's a lot of downside risk with real estate. Yes, when interest rates are zero and when everything's going up, everyone seems like a genius. 100%, you are a genius if everything goes up for the last 10 years. But again, this is sort of why we talk about what interest rates are doing and what the Fed's doing, because when rates are going up, everything changes. Not everyone is a genius anymore. And so, sort of these kind of things, you have to figure out, okay, what makes sense for you. I would say, though, generally speaking, yes, if you buy real estate, you're probably not going to be in too bad of shape if you're buying it to live in a house and you're going to live there and ultimately pay off that loan and you're going to build wealth and then you're going to pass that house on to your kids and that kind of stuff, right? I would say, I won't say never, but because this is, everything depends on your situation, but it's not a bad thing to own your own house, right? I think that's a pretty safe thing to say. The last thing I want to think about is thinking about like, your overall income structure. So this is sort of why I also talk about jobs in this channel, because I think it's very foolish to just talk about, buy this hot stock and that's it. Because if you don't have any money to begin with, right, it doesn't really matter, because you can't buy that much of said stock. And in fact, one of the best ways to really improve your financial situation is to have job skills that companies are willing to pay you. So for example, let's say I'm fantastic at the stock market, and I can do, we'll say 20% a year, which would be very, very good, and maybe some, YouTube channels will say, you can do 100%, 200% a year. I would say basically that's a scam. But let's say, for example, even if you're like spectacularly good at the market, and you manage a large amount of money, let's say you're doing 7% a year, just something like that. Think of it this way. Yes, I could do 7, maybe 20% a year or whatever I'm going to do. However, if you go from, say, working in McDonald's and you make $20 an hour to, say, working at Goldman Sachs and suddenly you're making, $400 an hour or whatever, like the percentage gain that you get from having a better job is way, way more than you could ever get in the market. And also, too, it is more guaranteed, right? This is sort of goes back to managing risk when I first opened with, what to do with your money in 2023. Well, you want to allocate your time. Time is a resource to where I think it's going to benefit you, right? You allocate your money the same way, you think, okay, my money's going to be best here, my money's going to be best there. Same with allocating your time. And so one of the things that you always want to balance out as well is when you're thinking about managing money is like, okay, how much time do I have to spend to, understand everything and to get good at stuff? And so this, in this regard, for some people, this is sort of why they just let someone else manage their money, but it goes back into the corruption thing again. So this is sort of why it's frustrating to me, because I'm trying my best to give you guys, reasonable advice and realistic advice. And I hope you understand that the reason why everything is called corrupt is because people profit basically off of you. This is just how the industry is built. Like I say our industry, because I guess I'm in the financing or whatever. But I try to focus on the news because I want you to be informed. I think that's sort of the main thing. And I really understand the average person is just like, Chris, you're a smart guy, just tell me what to do. And I just feel uncomfortable with that, because you need to take ownership of your own life. Also, too, this is also very, very real, is that not everyone, can predict the future 100%. Maybe no one can predict the future 100%, right? It is really, really tough. Sometimes I get things wrong, and I'm fine with that. My sort of risk management is that, hey, this can happen, or this can happen, but I'm not like, oh my God, this has to happen, or I lose, right? This is sort of what managing risk is all about, is that you're trying to, do the best of what you think could happen in the future. However, you are always better off taking the surest bets possible. And yes, you can take some risk. That's what managing risk is. So I'm telling you guys, like, for example, getting an education and getting a high paying job is a pretty sure thing, right? You know that income is going to be coming in, and you're going to be golden. And then after that, you're thinking, okay, so where do I allocate my funds? And I give you guys some different ways to think about it. Is you want to think, okay, where is my money going to best serve me? What are the interest rates doing? What are the different asset classes that I can put it? And also, to do not put your eggs all in one basket. This is always reasonable advice. And so anyway, I just had to just share this stuff with you guys. I know I repeat these topics quite a bit, but this hopefully explains why I do the news every day and why I like to spend time with you guys every day, because it's just so frustrating that there's so many YouTube channels out there that just basically just say a bunch of nonsense all the time. And it's really, really frustrating. So anyway, that's it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.